morning, and thank you for staying with us. i24 News Morning Edition, the place you should be. It's Friday, September 12th. It's Friday. It's Friday. I can say that over and over and over again.
TGIF.
TGIF. Amen. Yes, Dr. Friedman here with us, but we're going to get to you in a second. Feel free, though, to jump in because we are moving to Rwanda. In the past 5 years, wildlife filmmaker Gil Arbel has been filming the gorillas there, trying to prevent their extinction after new British oil endeavor is threatening to destroy the nature reserve. And we are joined in studio by Gil Arbel. And Gil, thank you for being with us. First of all, I got to tell you, I'm always jealous of people like you because, I mean, I went to film school and look at where I ended up. But, and yet you're living the dream and doing something important as well. Tell us what you did for the last 5 years and what is going on there.
Well, I'll tell you about the gorillas.
Please.
Because this is the main thing I've been doing in the last 5 years. I went there after working with the BBC and National Geographic. This is...
God, you are living the dream. Yes.
And one of my childhood dreams was the mountain gorillas, because I've seen so many films about Dian Fossey, Gorillas in the Mist,
yes.
and it was always like a dream to me, and it is. So I went there finally 5 years ago, but I didn't realize that I'll get much more than I expected.
Meaning what?
Meaning that I was privileged to film something very rare and emotional, which is when I got there, I've been told that there's a mother gorilla holding a dead baby, and so we went to look for her for for a week. And
holding, not releasing, just
yeah. And
it's part of the mourning process, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And we started climbing because they live very high up. It took us about 3 or 4 hours to get there and to find this group, this particular group, Susa group. And here they are. And we finally got there, and I saw her. I saw this mother. I hope that we can see her holding her baby.
Right.
The thing is that she had a miscarriage, and but unlike us, for some reason, because the hormones were still going on, so
they still go on after.
Yeah. So the mother hormones and the mother instincts didn't let her to let go of release the baby. And this phenomenon was documented in captivity, but not in the wild. By the way, this is the new baby, which was a year later. Was born a year later.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, this is the first time that it was documented in the wild that a mother was holding her dead baby, and you can actually see the grief in her eyes.
I wonder if we have those pictures of the.
I hope you do, because it's very. Here it is.
Okay.
You see, this is Izuru holding her dead baby.
My God.
It was just she didn't hide or ran away. She was just mourning her baby.
Right.
And it was so emotional. I mean, it was really hard to film because I was all tearing in the camera. And you can actually see her grief, her sadness in her eyes, and she's trying to revive him. She's trying to make him move and to touch his hands, and it was really heartbreaking.
Well, this is the new baby now that we're watching.
This is the new baby, and I followed her for a year.
But before you continue on that one, what happened? You know, how did she release the dead?
Eventually, the body started to smell and rot, so she had no choice. After 2 weeks, she had to let it go.
Right.
But Izuru was the queen of the group. They have hierarchy in the group.
Well, what is the hierarchy with gorillas? Is the female?
There's many females, but there's only one dominant male, which is the leader of the group.
Ain't that the case?
And he's the only one who's allowed to mate with the females. And she was his favorite female.
So that made her.
She already gave him 3 or 4 babies, and she miscarried this one, which in a second dropped her down the line. He abandoned her. He chose another female.
Men.
And
gorillas?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so
So she's sitting there in the corner with her
She's
dead
sitting in the
baby.
corner, and thanks to the second in command, Igisha, who was the only one who would approach her, because she stopped eating. She was in really bad health.
I would have given her some Prozac, you know, personally. And that works for people.
Here
Why
she
not
is
for
again.
her?
And Igisha was the only one who would approach her. That's Kurira, the dominant male, which looking at her, but he's got basically nothing to do, and he's got to take care of his family and his group. And this is how she's trying to touch the baby.
Oh God!
And trying to make him move, and
Yeah.
as if she doesn't really understand what's going on. And it's really, really sad. And in that moment, I realized how human they are, and how much we have to protect them.
And we tend to forget that because, I mean, we're not going to get into the whole discussion and upset many you know, people who do not believe that, you know, we come from nature as well, but how incredibly alike we are. And, you know, those reactions, you know, I hate to say it, if something like that would happen to a human, to a woman, if it wasn't for modern, you know, environments that we live in, she would want to hold her, you know, her infant as well for as long as she could and not let go. But when you start saying that you realized that they were close to extinction, why? What is going on in, you know, in Rwanda, where you were at and where you were filming all
There's a
this?
few things going on. First of all, logging, which make their habitat smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
Diseases that they get from us, because they have 98% of the genes are identical to us. Poaching, which is still going on in...
Speaking of the fossils, yeah.
Yeah, poaching that's still going on in, not in Rwanda, but in Congo.
Right.
Because their habitat is between the border of Rwanda, Uganda, and Congo.
What are they used for in terms of poaching gorillas?
Yeah, but
Do they have any medicinal properties like, you know, rhinoceros or sharks?
I mean,
Is there anything
they cut off their
particular?
parts and they sell them for...
Why do they kill the
Yeah,
gorillas?
yeah. Poaching.
You won't believe it if I'll tell you.
No,
For
tell
their
us.
paws.
For the
Really?
paws.
They
It
make,
was it, right.
they
it's
make
for the heads.
ashtrays from their
Jeez.
paws.
The paws.
It's a status thing. If like
you have an ashtray of a gorilla paw?
if you have an ashtray of a gorilla paw in your office, you know, it's
You're
like
a macho.
You're a macho. You're the king of the.
But basically, you're a gorilla.
Basically, you're a
It makes one
disgusting
wonder that, you know,
human being.
that we are the real animals, actually.
Exactly, and I wish we'd stayed like. I wish the evolution would stop there.
Yeah.
The world, our planet, would be much better off.
Right. Right.
And
yeah.
so, and recently, another threat is getting stronger. Is the oil search?
The oil search.
Because a British company called Soko, just got permission to look for oil in Virunga, in the forest, in one of the biggest nature reserves in the world, which inhabits 900 of the last mountain gorillas in the world. And if we don't do something drastic, next year they will start drilling, and that's the end of the gorillas, basically.
Gil,
and I hope that this film that I'm doing
is going to actually
is going
push the
to
point
help,
home.
and I'm looking for an investor to help me finish it.
No, and an important film that it is. Gil Arbel, thank you. Stay with us, but thank you for being here today. And you know, can we find you on Facebook? Can we find
On Facebook, on YouTube.
on YouTube, and then a film about the gorillas.
Whoever is concerned and care about those animals on this planet.
And this is definitely Man Walks In and Nature Dies. Thank you for being with us. This is the time for